My husband told me. It's just a phone. But he never imagined that an iPhone 17 Pro Max would become the proof of his second wife. One video, one parked car, and one sentence that destroyed everything I believed. You promised you'd tell your first wife. If you think the truth always comes from people, stay with me. Because in my case, technology spoke first. My name is Aisha, and this is not just a story. This is a real feeling story about love, betrayal, and the moment a secret life finally came into the light. What you're about to hear might sound unbelievable, until you realize it could happen to anyone. My husband was a quiet man. Few words, long nights, and one thing he never let go of. His iPhone 17 Pro Max. He treated that phone like it carried his entire world inside it. I asked him once, jokingly, why such an expensive phone? He smiled and said, work stuff, files, meetings. And I believed him. Because wives often believe. Until the truth stops asking permission. One night, he came home exhausted. Phone in his hand. He lay down on the couch and fell asleep almost instantly, then suddenly, buzz. Buzz. The phone vibrated. I glanced at the screen. A message appeared on the lock screen. I'm waiting in the car. Broken heart. My heart skipped. I told myself, you're overthinking. But my hands were shaking. I picked up the phone. Face ID scanned. The phone unlocked instantly. Almost like it wanted me to see everything. The thumbnail was dark. A parked car. And my husband's hand on the steering wheel. I placed my finger on the screen. Ready to press play, but I stopped. Because whatever was in that video wasn't just a mistake. It was the beginning of discovering his second life. My finger touched the screen. The video started shaking. Streetlights, darkness, and then a parked car came into focus. I recognized it immediately. It was his car. The camera slowly turned. And there he was. My husband, sitting in the driver's seat, smiling. Then I heard a voice. A woman's voice, soft, confident, too comfortable. She laughed and said. My stomach dropped. The camera moved again, and I saw her, sitting beside him, close, familiar, like she belonged there. Then I heard a voice. A woman's voice, soft, confident, too comfortable. She laughed and said. My stomach dropped. The camera moved again, and I saw her. Sitting beside him, close, familiar, like she belonged there. I followed the location. I found the car, and inside it were the two people who had been living a life without me. I stepped out of my car. My legs felt heavy. My heart felt louder than my footsteps. Every step toward that car felt like walking toward the end of something I once trusted. They still hadn't noticed me. They were talking, laughing. Like the world wasn't about to collapse. Then the woman looked up, her smile disappeared. My husband turned his head. His face went pale. He whispered my name. Aisha. That's when I knew. There was no lie left to tell. I stood right next to the car. Calm. Quiet. And I asked one question, how long? He opened his mouth, then closed it again. The woman looked away, then she said something I will never forget. He told me you knew. That sentence hurt more than any betrayal. Because it meant he had lied to both of us. I looked at him and said, tell the truth. Right now. His hands were shaking, and finally, he said it. We've been married for a year. A year. While I was planning a future. He was living another one. No one screamed. No one cried. Cars passed by. Completely unaware that a marriage had just ended. In silence, the woman stepped out of the car. She looked at me and said softly, I didn't know everything. I believed her. Because the real liar was standing right in front of me. I took a deep breath. And said asterisk asterisk, you didn't lose me today. You lost the version of me who trusted you. He tried to speak that I raised my hand, don't. I turned back toward my car. But before I left, I said one last thing. Tomorrow, everyone will know. His eyes widened. Because he realized I wasn't leaving quietly. In the parking lot, he finally admitted it. He wasn't just cheating. He was married to her. The next morning, I didn't cry. I didn't argue that I made phone calls, first, his mother, then, my parents. Then, the truth started spreading. Faster than his lies ever did. His mother went silent. For a long time. Then she said. He told us he was divorced. That's when I realized. This wasn't just a betrayal of me. It was a web of lies. Wrapped around two families. Later that day, I saw the proof. A marriage certificate. Dated 1 year ago, his signature, her name. And a witness. Who knew exactly what they were signing. It wasn't a mistake that IT was planned. She called me that night, her voice was shaking, she said. He told me you were leaving him. He said you knew everything. I believed her. Because the details matched his lies perfectly. Suddenly, everything made sense. The secrecy, the separate phones, the work trips. He hadn't been choosing between us. He had been controlling both of us that evening. He came home that he stood in front of me. Like a stranger that he said. I was scared to lose you. I looked at him and replied. You lost me. The moment you chose to lie. By the end of the day, everyone knew. Friends, family, even the people who once defended him. The life he built in secret was no longer hidden. That night, I packed a small bag that I stood at the door and looked back one last time, not at my husband, but at the woman I used to be. The truth was out, the lies were exposed, and now I had to decide what my life would look like next. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was broken, but because I was awake. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to fix him. I was trying to hear myself. Walking away didn't make me weak. That IT reminded me who I was. Before I forgot my worth. Healing didn't happen overnight. Some days I was strong, other days I missed the version of life I thought I had, but every morning I woke up knowing one thing. I didn't lose my marriage. I saved myself. Here's what this experience taught me. If someone has to hide you, they are not protecting you. If someone lies to keep you, they don't love you. And if the truth scares them, it's because they know it would set you free. If you're listening to this, and something in your heart feels familiar, please hear me. Love should not confuse you, love should not make you doubt your sanity, love should not require silence. You deserve honesty, you deserve peace, you deserve to choose yourself. That I didn't share this story for sympathy. I shared it because someone out there is questioning their reality right now. And I want you to know, you're not crazy, that you're not overreacting. You're waking up. If this story touched you, if it helped you feel less alone, please consider subscribing to this channel. Here, we share real feeling stories about truth, strength, and finding yourself again. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Sometimes the truth doesn't come from a confession. Sometimes, it comes from a phone you were never meant to touch. And sometimes, the ending you fear becomes the beginning you needed. I asked myself one question: if I stay, what am I teaching myself about love? The answer was painful, but it was honest. The next morning, I sat across from him. No anger, no tears, just clarity. I said, you didn't just betray me. You erased my safety. He begged, promised change, promised honesty, promised therapy, but I realized something Promises sound beautiful. Only when trust still exists, and mine was gone. Completely that I stood up, that I picked up my bag. And I said the words she never expected. I choose myself. He cried that I didn't. Because strength doesn't always cry. I walked out of the house that no longer felt like home. The air felt lighter, scary, but honest. For the first time. My future belonged to me, but walking away wasn't the end of the story, because healing and justice don't happen quietly.